This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I'm delighted to be here helping you with playing the guitar. In this video, I'm going to go over the G, E minor, C, and D chords and demonstrate some ways you can work on getting them under your fingers. This video does accompany Lesson 1 from Chords and Harmony Books 1 and 2, which is part of my method book series. If you have the book and you look at page 12, you'll see some diagrams there for these chords and some exercises. Okay, so let's dive in here. I have up on the board some diagrams for these chords. If you need help with these types of tablature diagrams or the chord symbols that represent the chords, check out part 1 of the videos that go with lesson 1 from the chords book, and it'll explain all of that for you. So if we start with the G chord, there's a couple different ways that we can finger this. We can go index, middle, and ring fingers, or we could go middle, ring, and pinky. Most of my in-person students that have taken beginning guitar classes or lessons with me have preferred going index, middle, ring. So index, middle, ring, and then we got those open strings between them. Or I could go middle, ring, and pinky. But it looks just like that. Now, as I'm playing this chord, I want to try and press the strings down with the tips of my fingers. And I want to position my fingers just behind the fret bar as much as I can. Sometimes I gotta go a little further, but the closer we are to that fret bar, the easier it is to press the strings down and get a good tone. If you go through as you're playing a chord, and you're getting some sort of sound like this, you've got some strings that are muted, and so all you need to do is just go through each one at a time and find where that muted sound is, and then try and figure out what's causing it. So right now this finger is collapsed onto that string and it's causing it to be muted, so I got to get that finger more up on the tip, and so I just work my way through until I can get it, and then I work and play all those. As you're getting started, you might find it frustrating trying to get all the strings that are supposed to be ringing. I will say that the more you play and the more your hands get used to it, the more things just sort of take care of themselves. So you just want to do the best you can and try and have fun, not let yourself get too frustrated. But we have that G chord with the two different options for how we can finger that one. Let's take a look at E minor. We also have two options for E minor as well. We can go index and middle, or middle and ring. So if we go index and middle, it looks like so. Or if we go middle and ring, it looks like so. We could technically finger it with other ones, but those are the two most popular ways to do it. And then we've got the other open strings that ring as well. Then with the C chord, we're not going to play the low 6th string, but we're going to find that we go index, middle, and ring. So index, middle, and ring. I'm going to skip over that 3rd string, that G string. Just like that, we've got that C chord. And then for the D chord, we're not going to play the low 5th and 6th string, but we are going to play the 4th string open, and then we've got index, middle, and ring. So it looks just like so. Now with this D chord, we want to try and just strum those top 4 strings. If we catch the 5th or 6th string, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but as we gain control over our playing, we just want to do those top 4 strings. In that same fashion with the C chord, as we control our playing, we want to just do the top 5 and not play this low 6th string. Now what you want to do is you're starting to work on these chords. We're going to be working up to playing a progression that's going to go G, E minor, C, and D. G, E minor, C, and D. It's a very popular chord progression. As we're preparing for that, what we want to do is go back and forth between each of those chord changes. So we want to work on going between G and E minor. So this is a great place to start. You just take G and you play it, and then you switch to E minor. However you're going to finger it, and then you go back to G, and then you go back to E minor. And you just go back and forth, just strumming it once and letting it ring, trying to get those chords to ring, and going back and forth. Then you want to go between E minor and C. So you're going to do E minor and C. And you're just going to go back and forth between E minor and C. Many, many times, just getting comfortable with putting those chords where they go. Then you want to go between C and D. So you go back and forth between C and D. This one really takes moving that hand from one position to another. But you're just going to go back and forth, just strumming it and letting it ring. And then between D and G. So go back and forth between D and G. Once you've practiced doing that over and over, just letting those chords ring and getting comfortable moving from one chord to the next, then you want to just do the strumming pattern that we've been working on, 4 strums per bar or measure. So we're just strumming on all the quarter notes. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you switch chords and do it on that chord. Then you go back and switch again. So you want to work that with each of these chord changes, just like I did with the long held version of the chord. Then what you want to try and do is so you can keep the strumming pattern going while you're switching chords. So I just try and keep this strumming pattern going while I'm switching. Even if it takes me a minute to switch, I want to try and be able to keep my right hand strumming while I'm switching chords. So I want to do that. If I'm doing E minor to C, that might be even more involved because it might take me a little bit longer to keep it going. But you just want to try and keep the strumming hand going while you're switching chords. So that's what you do step 3. So the first one is to let it ring between them, then to do 4 strums on each, and then switch chords and do 4 strums. And then try and keep the strumming pattern going as you're switching chords. Now, if you don't know how to do the strumming technique, you can check out the lesson that or the video that goes with lesson 1 that's on that strumming technique. That'll help you out there. Now there's a couple tricks that I want to mention with switching between chords. The first one is that to keep common fingers down. So if there's a finger that's used between one chord and the next in the same place, you just want to leave it down and not lift it up. So for example, if we were playing G to E minor and we were using index, middle, and ring, and then index and middle, we would have commonly between the 2 chords our index finger at that 2nd fret of the 5th string. So between G and E minor, I could leave that down the whole time as I switch back and forth, and that can help me. The other thing is planting. We can plant the index finger first if the index finger is used in a chord. If not, whatever finger comes next. So if it's the middle or the ring, so on. So if I plant my index finger first, I can find where that goes, then add the others. So especially like going to C, for example, if I'm going from E minor to C, and I'm going to play E minor this way so I don't have a common finger as I demonstrate this. But if I'm going from E minor to C, I can plant that index finger first and then put down those others. Now E minor, I'm not fingering with an index, so I can plant that middle first and then add the other. As I worry about planting one finger first, put that finger and then find, it helps my brain, it helps us find these chords and sort of create a pattern for doing so. It helps us speed up how quickly we can get to them. So this is especially great to demonstrate when going from C to D because we really have to change our hands. So I put down my C, and then I find my index finger and add the other 2 on D. Find my index finger for C and add the other 2. Find my index finger and add the other 2. So that can help you as you're working on switching between the chords. Okay, so in the next video that will come out, there are 6 exercises that go with lesson 1, and you can jam with me and the band as we play those exercises, which will go between these different chords and ultimately lead up to doing G, E minor, C, and D. You'll be jamming right along with me and the band. So while you'll be strumming the chords and I'll be strumming the chords, we've got the band playing the rest of the groove and the melody and so on. And it's going to be great. So that comes out in the next video that goes with this lesson, being lesson 1 from Chords and Harmony, books 1 and 2, which is part of my method book series. Hope you're having fun. Take care, and we'll see you in more of these videos. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.